So, is that running?
We are rolling. Yeah.
Hello.
So what's the promo video for the exhibition?
Yeah, okay.
And,
I haven't.
You haven't?
No.
Tom mentioned something about when you first laid eyes on you when you met at university, and I wondered if go on.
Yeah, carry on. I'm just trying to remember. Yeah, what he said.
He was vague.
Vague.
But I wondered what your first impression of him was.
Yeah, kind of mouthy, troublemaking kind of person. Yeah, I don't know, yeah. Because we're both quite small. Yeah, I don't know if it's a small person thing, you're kind of a bit more feisty somehow. Yeah, he was quite mouthy.
Incredible. I know that you produce a lot of the artwork for Cadet in the studio around the band when they were performing.
Yeah.
And I've always wondered about the art and the music. Like, did the art inspire the music in a kind of two-way process, or was it more just the art responding to the music?
Yeah, it's a question I've kind of thought about because it has come up before. This thing, because the work's made very closely with the music. At certain times, there's usually like I've normally got some kind of abiding obsession at any given time that manifests itself in whichever way it does, just when we first start working. Because when I start working, they're starting working, so they've got some ideas, I've got some ideas, but it's not a finished thing. So they're making the music, they're figuring out what the music's going to be like at the same time I'm figuring out what the artwork's going to be like. And it feels like you're just sort of, to start with, you're just feeling your way in a dark forest, and you don't know where the path through is, you don't know what the thing that you're trying to get to, you've no idea where it is, or what it looks like, or what it sounds like, but something's coming, and you're sort of trying to find out where it's coming from, what it looks like.
Awesome. Must be an exciting feeling.
No, it's horrible. It's horrible. It's really depressing because it's just. I've been doing this for ages now, and it's each time I'm just like, I've got no ideas. Maybe I've rinsed it. There's nothing left. I've just done. There's a finite amount of ideas in my head, and I've just used them all up, and there's nothing left. So, there's always, when I start, a really horrible time when it's just like shit. It's coming out of me. It's just awful. It's terrible. Like embarrassing, kind of embarrassing, sixth former kind of twaddle. And eventually, maybe something you kind of just. So yes, it's not exciting. It's kind of horrible, but it gets to be. You have this kind of exciting moment when you're like, oh man, shit, that's it.
That's what I was talking about. But there is a lot of self-criticism.
Yeah,
that happens.
Yeah,
I think I feel that's kind of natural, especially if you're going to produce something beautiful. You want to make sure that you're not just splurging junk out.
So, yeah, exactly. Yeah, and so I think you become the worst. You become the worst critic, the most critical. I mean, fortunately, I've got a partner. She's really fucking critical as well. So there's no punches pulled between us. We're very kind of strict. So there's nothing. There's no border. There's a paper thin barrier between good and shit. There's just nothing in the middle. There's no point in having anything in the middle. Yeah. So hopefully I've kind of just put out good stuff. Try to keep the shit stuff under the bed, in a cupboard, dark cupboard. And I keep all the monsters.
Well, I would say you've done a good job of that from my perspective. And if I think about the artwork for Cadet, because we're surrounded by it, if I think about the eraser and how it's so different, yet it's still got you and your voice, and
Yeah, it's funny. I try to be, because to start with I used a different name for lots of different things. So I had lots of pseudonyms. Because the idea was that I wanted to become a different person for each record that I did. So I didn't want to be the same person who did OK Computer when I was doing this. And I sort of thought I was a bit like jack of all trades, master of none, because I've done like very different artwork for In Rainbows or for Eraser or all these things. And then I did a book a couple of years ago with Thames and Hudson, and I kind of finally put everything together, which involved getting all this defunct media like jazz drives and zip discs and SideQuest cartridges, and somehow getting all this data that was on this ridiculous outmoded digital technology all onto one drive with USB slots in it, so I could look at it all at the same time. And I realised that the one thing it did all link together, and the linking mechanism was unfortunately just myself. And it was I can now realise that I can cut stuff with lino or paint or draw, and it still comes out the same.
I think that's an amazing thing when an artist really finds their voice, and I felt for me Radiohead did that with this era and Kid A.
Yeah, I reckon.
Yeah. And with the artwork as well. I remember first listening to that album, and the artwork was it was all like this whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was the first time we were able to work in the same space, really, to do everything in the same space, because OK Computer had been really successful. They were able to buy a barn in the countryside and do it up, so it became a recording studio. And I had a small barn as well. It was a big barn, really. But then that was my painting space studio. So we're all in the same kind of complex of old wooden buildings. And whereas before with OK Computer, that was all done on the computer. It was all done with I had a little A5, whatever it is, like a pad and a stylus, a light pen to draw with. So you're kind of looking at a screen. So the screen's there where you are, and there's a typewriter thing here, and then a mouse, and then this little tablet. So you're kind of looking at the screen and then doing this. So it's a weird thing, this hand-eye coordination. So you're looking there, but you're doing the work here. And everything was like really tiny little movements. So I kind of wanted to do this. So this was before we had the barn, just before. I kind of rented this horrible studio in a really, really cold warehouse. And I wanted to make these huge marks and movements and paint with sticks and make a mess and throw gravel at it. Because the stuff I wanted to do, the stuff I wanted to paint about were quite horrible subjects. So they needed to be quite aggressively performed to get that kind of emotion into the picture, which is very hard to do when you're just going with a little pen.
Yeah.
So that was why I kind of went to this scale. And this it's all done with knives, palette knives and sticks, and no brushes. I don't think I've used brushes very much. Yes, it's palette knives. Maybe I used a bit of a brush there. I probably cheated and used a bit of a brush. Yeah.
We'll let you off. Yeah. Well, it definitely got the desired effect.
Yeah, they're quite doomy, aren't they?
Well, again, they captured just the whole feel of the record so well.
It's very direct. I don't know if this is the same for everyone. I sort of think it is. You can do a sort of a nice little exercise with a pen if you listen to music and you just like let the pen go where the music takes your hand, if you know what I mean. And that's sort of like that's like a tiny little the most basic version of this. But music. I find that music has a way of drawing pictures, and really once I've figured out what pictures the music is drawing, then it's quite easy for me to follow it. You know, it's not quite painted by numbers, but maybe it's painted by notations or something like that. It's painted by sound, or trying to find something. It's like, you know, I was saying about kind of when you're trying to find out what it is that you're looking for. Once you've found it, you kind of follow it. So the first painting is really, really difficult. Then the next one is a bit easier. And then by the time you kind of finish the project, you'll just say, yeah, man, I could just keep going like with this. It's really easy. But, you know, I haven't really done that. I should have. I should have just carried on painting like this. Would have made my career much easier. But, you know.
But it's knowing
too late
when
now.
to stop, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess, yeah, you know, because after this, what is it? After this, these were, you know, this was the more black and white stuff was more what I did for Amnesiac, which was a sort of companion record. And then the next one was Hail to the Thief, which was completely different, like 7 colours, bright, straight out the pot, and words in the form of kind of maps or landscapes. And I sort of have carried on with that.
With the barn situation, I kind of imagine you kind of overhearing them, like in a muffled way.
Well,
how did it kind of work?
Sort of. It was very close. So, you know, the recording studio, they sort of done it up. This, you know, because the barn was obviously it was a barn, but then they'd done it up so it was kind of nice, and they had soundproofing in and heating and stuff like that. And I was just like, I don't want any of that. I leave the floor as gravel and stone and brick. And I had a wood-burning stove and a lot of coats. And there was a lot of spiders in there. It was really good, like, and I had a lot of rodents of all sorts. So when I'm painting a picture, I think when you're painting a picture, you can paint for a bit. Like usually about 20 minutes, you know, and then you're like, I've got to think. So I had a chair to sit in, and it was very quiet. There would just be the kind of like the gentle kind of the fire burning away, and I'd be quietly looking at it. And I used to smoke in those days. I'd be sitting there, having a roll it, looking at the picture, figuring out what to do next. And little shrews and mice would run around. It was really cool. But then the whole rodent situation got a bit out of hand, because there was a big area of gravel which just started, each time I came in, it was kind of like a mound was appearing. And what it was, there was a massive rat's nest underneath the mound, which is fine, you know, but the rats, they started eating my paint. They tried that, so I'd go in and my tubes of paint, they have rat teeth marks in. And, you know, most of them, they were like, nah, but Prussian blue. Rats fucking love Prussian blue. So they ate all my Prussian blue paint, which is the dark blue. Right. And they left these little Prussian blue rat shits all over the floor.
Amazing.
So I had to get bits of wood and nail up all the bigger holes and try to, I put a load of stuff on top of this mound, like just a big pile of junk, and then we're sort of okay. So we had that, and I've got off the subject, haven't I? I'm just talking about rodents. So yeah, music. So often I would go and sit in the nicely not modernised, but you know, refurbished big barn and listen to the music and sort of just see where it was. But what I did mostly was I'd say, can you just burn me a CD of where you are? Burn me a CD of it. So I'd have these CDs, I'd take them back over to my painting bar with the rats and the shrews and everything. And put them on a really terrible CD player. But because there was a wooden bar, the sound was quite nice. And also, I figured out this is how most people are going to hear this music. They're not going to hear it on these amazing speakers and this, you know, mixing desk here that's got all these dials and things. They're going to hear it on you know, a 90 quid CD player from Dixon's. So that's all I had. So I would, you know, I'd play the music as it was developing, on these sort of CDRs and stand on stools and paint. Yeah, so but also the band came over a lot to sit there and enjoy my fire and look out for rodents and listen to the music as people were going to hear it. So, when things got a bit much in the recording studio, because it can get a bit fraught, there's 5 of them and the producer, Nigel, and the engineer, whoever that was at the time. And then, so there's a lot of people kind of all doing one thing, so, sometimes it's just like, I'm going to go and sit with the crazy painter in the shed out there and look out for some voles or something. So yeah, it's quite convivial with the little fire burning. It was lovely, yeah. Shame I haven't got it anymore, it's all gone.
Oh.
It's all gone. Yeah.
What, demolished or sold?
Sold. I don't know, it's no longer required in the same way, because technology for recording has become, everything's miniaturized.
Yeah.
So it's kind of as a massive luxury to have a huge space all the time for recording, when you actually only need space for sound, as for at a certain time, so and then you can kind of go somewhere to do that, if you need orchestral stuff, say, then you need space for that. So it makes more sense to hire somewhere than keep someone all the time.
And it still exists in the memories and the stories.
Still exists in the memories and the stories, yeah, for now, and yeah. I'll never forget my Prussian blue. I couldn't believe it.
Funny that they had a preference.
They did, yeah. They left everything else.
Maybe it had a certain chemical that they just...
Yeah, because a lot of those paints they've changed now, because they had cadmium in, which apparently is, I think it's cadmium. It's maybe it's carcinogenic or radioactive or something. It's not allowed in paint.
Yeah, if you could choose a buyer or a location for the pieces to be displayed in the future, who or where, what would this be?
I don't know. I don't know. This is pretty ideal, isn't it? It's pretty good. It's a very swanky part of London, and it's a lovely building, and the walls are black, which is great. Who or
to
where?
Just keep it here. Just how
yeah, unfortunately they swap stuff out every week and a half. So I really don't know. Maybe. Oh, I know. I like maybe somewhere like in like the Barbican, something like that. Yeah, all of them in the Curve forever. No, because they've got to change that. I don't know. I don't know. It's a very hard question. I think I've failed, fallen at the first hurdle there of that question.
I don't know. Now I've got a fun question about the future and something that I think about a lot.
Is this the question?
No, the question's coming after this.
Okay.
It's coming after this. What upcoming ideas and innovations in art or music most excite you?
None. None at all. I'm sort of, I'm kind of becoming more and more despairing about digital information flows and the internet generally. I was kind of like a happy clappy evangelist for the internet right at the beginning. I was like, and digital art, I was really, really into it, but I'm kind of like, I feel like I more want to learn how to do sort of proper wood carving or something. That's what I'm sort of excited about, trying to keep alive some crafts and skills that are in danger of being lost, because digital is great, but it's not going to leave anything apart from a sort of tide of useless plastic-based toxic trash. So I'm kind of a little bit despairing about that, because some of the things that are found, you know, say illuminated manuscripts or beautiful carvings or stonework or even paintings. Some paintings have been around for a long time, but there's nothing that I've seen that's new that I'm like, that's great. But I'm kind of like old now, so it's almost like ask someone in their 20s what's exciting, because people in their 50s don't have a clue. I mean, I've done a massive amount of digital art, like everything that's rotating on there is 50 images on there that are just to do with these works. But I mean, I've no idea how many bits of digital artwork I've made. It's thousands and thousands and thousands. But I've lost. You can lose them, like I said about like the SideQuest drives or something like that. They'll and I was trying to get some stuff off CD, compact disc CD, and my new laptop, it just doesn't recognise the CD. And I'm like, wow, that's quite, because they're quite new, they're only from the 80s.
I had that CDRs. They've got a shelf life. They just suddenly stop being readable.
Yeah. So and I got very interested in the NFT, non-fungible token thing, some time ago. But I did quite a lot of research into that, and I stepped backwards from it. I thought, at last,
Yeah, I think that's
because it's great to be able to validate kind of a digital artwork, but also you kind of want a planet to live on as well. So fuck that.
Yeah, I think
it's unfortunate.
It needs time to develop.
Yeah, they keep saying that. They're working on it. Yeah, sure. Yeah, we don't have time to. Yeah. Anyway, it's a whole subject that is.
Well, I would love to go into it in more detail. So we come to the final question. I told you this is the one.
This is the one. The build-up hasn't been too much,
This has been a great chat. We've been going around the world asking artists in all disciplines this question, and the question is, what are you here for?
Brilliant. I'm here to figure out whether it's worth being here or not. It's going okay so far, but early days.
Great answer.
Right, excellent. Fantastic.
Really great to meet you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. All right, that's good. Cut. I've done some press. Excellent. It was all right.